beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit
Blowing this one up, and Mesher is on it. Out to center field. Play will be made by Allie Keys on the fly out, and out number one will be recorded by the Governors.
Well hit ball, line drive to Keys. Makes a good play, just fielding that line drive and keeping the runner on first.
You know, Dean, Washington is the third out of four Sioux Falls teams that scores in the first inning here against the Govs. Nice pick in the backstop by Tylen. I think Jefferson was the only team. Did they? Well, maybe they did score. I'll have to check that stat sheet from yesterday. I was thinking Jefferson maybe was scoreless. Nope, they did score two in the first inning as well. So Lincoln to Jefferson to Roosevelt today in Washington. All four of those teams have scored right away in the first inning, either 2 or 3 runs. And so far, 2 for Washington with 1 down and a runner on first. Strike is in. Here's a shot up the middle. Hymans makes the play, steps on 2 and throws to 1. And Olivia Hymans with a 6-6-3 put out of Josie Beitler. That'll be outs 2 and 3. And the Governors will get off the field. But early damage, 2 runs on 3 hits, and nobody left on base against no Pierre errors. First half inning done, Sioux Falls, Washington 2, and the Pierre Governors coming to bat. You're listening as we pause for 1 minute to Pierre Governor Softball on River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Generational success means different things to different people. But to us, it means seeing my daughter follow in my footsteps, keeping the farm in the family, just getting to do this every day. We're Agtegra Cooperative, and we're generationally successful. That's who we are. Agtegra Cooperative.
Hey Josie, why so glum, chum? I can't find a way to get my whole group to one spot without taking all these cars. You haven't heard of Denwall Transportation? They have luxury seating buses with air conditioning, outlets to charge your phone, and other must-haves for traveling.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit
Outfield for the Washington Warriors. It's Natalie Thompson who is in left field. They're not using their designated player. Center field is Josie Beitler, and right field Berkeley Hall. Washington up 2-0. We're batting, Pierre batting in the bottom of the first inning. Charlie Hall will swing and miss at strike one.
Little bit of that.
Welcome
bowling
back to the
curve
Hawaii
here
Federal-
coming out of Washington's pitcher. She's throwing that pretty consistently, basically hooking, if you will, or curving right to left across the plate. Real tight spin here. Beautiful pitch for strike two.
Another one down the middle. And this is the first time we've really seen a pitcher, I think, get a hopping jump off of the pitching rubber and into her motion. Mesher, she doesn't really wind up. Well, she winds up, but she doesn't rock back. You don't see a lot of movement. All it is just from the waist. She'll push forward, and that arm swing in the full motion from there. But nothing really from the top. Charlie Hull with a foul ball after one get missed off the outer edge. So it's a ball and 2 strikes here. I imagine Charlie's going to try to be more aggressive in this game. We talked to her a little bit in between ball games about her approach. 1 and 2, and just off the outside edge.
Good place for that pitch. Charlie doing a great job of just watching the strike zone, letting that one go by.
So 2 and 2. Now 1 down so far here in the first, and a tough pitch to fight off. Good line drive, but foul over the first base bag and over to the right field fence. Run down by Berkeley Hall out there. Hall staying alive. I was kidding with Charlie because she has struck out looking several times this weekend. And, the conversation that she and I had was just keep swinging, or in her case, just swing, and she kind of had a laugh at that. Here she gets a piece of one, and that comes out of the glove of the catcher, Chavez. So by the slimmest of pieces of the baseball, Charlie stays alive here. Still 2 and 2. Here comes Mesher. Charlie fouls another one back.
It seems like Charlie has done an excellent job with the pressure on Brian. I mean, she just has been fouling. She just has not gotten one fair. But, man, she's driving the pitch count up every at bat. Love to see Charlie just get a strong single.
2 and 2. Backing away from this one. She'll roll it out to short. Quick throw from Kite over to Ackerman and a 6-3 put out. And that one, as far as Charlie Hull's concerned, you just kind of saw her stepping toward third base when she stepped forward. And that's just one thing that got her a little bit off balance. Once again, the fundamentals are step in, meet the pitch. Or, we talked with assistant coach Chris Hull in between games too about what a lot of players are being taught now is just a very short step, quick hands. Here's Flotmeyer with a pop-up on the first pitch behind the pitching circle. The pitcher doesn't go after it. You're really taught not to. The second baseman comes in, but Childress can't get to it. It's an infield pop-up single for Kenzie Flotmeyer with a 2-out base runner for the Governors.
Yeah, they normally teach the pitchers don't step back more than 2 steps and let your shortstop or second baseman take it. You're exactly right. That one had so much backspin on it. Oh.
Swing and a miss for Allie Keys as Mesher dialed it up. A rise ball across the letters.
Keys swung at that one like she was going to go yard. That quite amazingly quick hands. Tremendous cut by Allie.
Mesher again, 0-1. I thought that might be away, but it is. At the knees on the outer edge and an 0-2 spot. Great spot for that pitch. Washington again, black and orange. They've got the black jerseys, dark colored jerseys, orange pinstripes, orange collars, orange socks. Keys will try to hit a high one, and that one is swung on and missed. That's strike 3, and that's out. Number 3. Pierre bats 4 with a 2-out single from Kenzie Flotmeyer, but will come up empty. 1 inning complete on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard. 2-0 Washington batting when we come back in 1 minute. Pierre Governor softball.
No way! Yeah, you should check them out. Where can I find them? You can follow them on Facebook or denwalltransportation.com, or hey, let's give them a call at 605-532-3836. Denwall Transportation, let us do the driving.
If new home construction or a major renovation project is on the top of your list for 2026, Then let's kickstart your plans with an interest rate as low as 3.99%. A construction loan at Dakota Land Federal Credit Union is tough to beat and definitely something you can build on. Visit DakotaLandFCU.com for details or stop by a friendly and convenient branch location today. Dakota Land, federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome back to Won a Sweepstakes. These are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Here we go to the top of the second inning as Sioux Falls, Washington bats. First pitch swinging and right out to right field, and a one-handed put away for Kenzie Flottmeyer to retire Emily Ackerman, the Washington first baseman. Line shot, but Flottmeyer plays that one well all the way. Radio audience, you just heard from the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Consumer Protection Division. They sponsor the naming of our game officials. The officials who we appreciate them doing what they do in any sport, especially officiating high school sports. Our law on the field. Here's another first pitch hack and a fly ball to Allie Keys in center field. And Natalie Thompson is retired on a pitch. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Today's game officials, as they were in the first game. Eric Lusk is calling the balls and strikes at home plate. Shane Munt is manning the base paths as far as the umpires are concerned. So thanks, guys, for being our law on the field. Berkeley Hall is next, the right fielder. And strike 1 is in. She takes this one. Otherwise, up until this point, 2 pitches and 2 outs for the Warriors and for Charlie Hall. Didn't get the batting lineup in full. We'll get that for you for the Governors. There's a hooking foul ball down the left field line, and that one fouled by just mere inches as Presley Spies was giving chase, but Berkeley Hall will have to come back and try again at 0-2. 4 pitches, 4 strikes here for Charlie Hall. And 2 outs already. Trying to get a quick third one, get the Govs back in the dugout. This is a strike, swung on. Taryn Spruill has to range back, and Kenzie Flottmeyer can't get to it either. And that'll be a bloop single behind the second baseman for Berkeley Hall.
Got exactly what we wanted, Brian. A weak hit on a beautiful curveball by Charlie, and just again seems a little communication error between our right fielder and second baseman on that one.
Yeah, I don't think Flottmeyer thought she could get to it, but she still has to be talking out there, and if she can, you definitely have to call off the infielder. The outfielder has first charge on that. Big swing for Rylan Routh, the third baseman here, number 9 hitter in the Washington order. She bats with a runner on first after that 2-out single. This one up and away. Charlie Hall, that's the first ball she's thrown in this inning, and about 7 pitches now.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job of pounding the zone, throwing out a lot of curveballs and drop balls, looking pretty sharp.
Governor's trying to get off the field quickly still, swing and a miss, as something was taken off of this one for Charlie.
Charlie also has an incredible changeup. You'll see her pull that out a lot. And the way these Washington batters are swinging, you need to keep them off balance.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And this one in the dirt makes it 2-2 as Routh lays off.
Good pitch down. If she cuts at that, it's a routine grounder. Good place for that pitch in a 1-2 count.
Hall at first. Getting her lead now, but down and in on the 2-2. That'll run the count full as Rylan Routh making things difficult here. And Washington hoping to roll the lineup over to the top if Routh can reach. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner will get an early start from first base. That's a foul tip back behind the plate. And they'll go back and do it again.
Good pitch by Charlie, kind of an off-speed curve that you saw. Batter just caught it off the end of the bat.
I didn't have much. Slightly separated hands here for the batter. Hall on the 3-2 again. And it's a line drive to Taryn Spruill, who reaches up and finds its way into the glove. That's a line out to second. Another highlight defensive play turned in by the Pierre Governors. Highlight plays and Taryn Spruill right on the money, sponsored by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on in the second inning. An inning and a half. Washington leads the Governors 2-0. We'll take a 30-second break and come back for the Pierre half of the second inning next. This is Pierre Governor Softball.
Each day brings the opportunity to make a difference, to follow through with integrity, to solve challenges through innovative thinking, and to bring the technical know-how needed to get the job done. At Wilbur Ellis, this is how we work, standing side by side as local experts who partner with the stewards of the land. We do it together. That's the power of we.
Welcome back to
the complex in Southeast Pierre. Another nice day for softball. It's a little bit cool with a northerly wind that is picking up a bit. I think we're still 10 to 15 miles an hour, still nothing like we experienced yesterday with that strong northwest wind. But nice day as Ava Nelson will come out to hit in the second inning to start the Pierre effort.
You know, Pierre's come out now 2 innings in a row with great defensive stands, really raising the bar on that play. And that play by Taryn Sproul, line drive by Flopmeyer, that could have been a triple. Flopmeyer doesn't catch that. So kudos to the Pierre defense stepping it up here in the first 2 innings.
Nelson looks at strike 1 here. Maddie Mesher, the pitcher. Now this one up a little higher, and Nelson swings through it. Nelson hit the ball well yesterday, has not had as good of an offensive day today as far as contact is concerned. It'll be Nelson, Presley Spies, and Olivia Hymans, followed by Taryn Sproul and Emma Tylen to finish off the Pierre lineup, brought to you by Envirotech in Pierre. Now Nelson looks at one on the outer half at the knees. That's strike 3, called by Eric Lusk, and the first out here in the Pierre half of the second inning. 9 strikeouts looking against Sioux Falls Roosevelt this morning and early afternoon for the Governors. That's a number they'll try to cut down on considerably in this game, but Nelson caught looking. Presley Spies has strike 1 called as the left fielder steps in. Here's one as Spies will turn on it. This will go foul out into somewhat shallow left field, but over toward the fence.
You know, Presley has really come on here middle of the season, and like I was saying earlier in our earlier game today, triple, double, triple today, home run. She's really starting to step in and make a push in the offensive lines for Pierre Governors.
0-2 for Presley, and again, a rise ball comes up. Maddie Mesher has struck out 4 of the first 5 outs for the Govs, as Spies will go down swinging, and that'll bring up Olivia Hymans. Kind of curious if Liv will put a bunt down and try to use her speed to get something going, just to get somebody on base here in the second inning for Pierre. And she does square around, waves at it. That'll be a strike 1. Third baseman see her coming in. That was Routh, maybe expecting the same thing as well.
And I like the idea with Heyman's speed and Sproul on deck. I mean, that'd be a combination to move a base runner around.
0-1. Mesher has been perfect so far, I believe, in this inning. Maybe 1 ball thrown, but she gets strike 2. Swung on and missed by Hymans. And 0-2. As Washington hopes for a quick inning here. Wind is helping the pitcher, and another one dialed up high. 1, 2, 3. A darn near perfect, immaculate inning for Maddie Mesher and Sioux Falls, Washington, as the Governors go quietly. It's 2-0 after 2 complete on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard. Let's pause for a minute. We'll go to the third next on River 92.7.
Protect what matters most with the Brittany Scheffelbein Agency, American Family Insurance. Our personalized insurance solutions ensure you're covered, no matter what life throws your way. From home and auto to farm, commercial, and life, we tailor policies to fit your unique needs. With our dedicated team and exceptional service, you'll have peace of mind knowing you're in good hands. Contact the Brittany Scheffelbein Agency, LLC.
Best of luck in today's competition to the Pierre Governors from Black Sheep Agronomy, your local agronomy experts. Black Sheep Agronomy wants you to have a successful farm plan, and they're focused on products and practices that work in this region. As community members themselves, Tyler, Tice, and Austin support area students who work hard in their school and extracurricular activities. Good luck, Governors from Black Sheep Agronomy. Call 842-6104 for all your agronomy needs.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Quick first couple of innings, but Sioux Falls, Washington leads 2-0 as Charlie Hall will come up high. First pitch of our top of the third as Washington starts their lineup over. Kirsten Kite, who had a bunt single in the first inning, came around and scored. Very fleet-footed leadoff hitter, kind of everything you want in a leadoff. Charlie Hall with a curve that comes down low and in. And it'll be a 2-0 start.
It's a good-looking pitch, Brian. Just missing.
Yep. Charlie checks the signal on the wristband. She winds up over the head. Now Kite on an off-speed delivery. Turns on it and crashes it down the first base line. But foul.
We were talking that last inning that Washington's pitcher Mesher may have put up 10 total pitches, basically finishing off with 2 rise balls at both the second and third outs. Pitches that Pierre hasn't really seen a lot of.
There's one bounded at the plate, another foul ball, and 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pierre seeing an overwhelming amount of curves, and now this pitcher Mesher is kind of doing a knockout punch with a rise ball here, and she's got a good one.
It's a baseball or a softball term, an immaculate inning. If you strike out 3 batters in a row to retire the side on 9 pitches, 3 pitches each, that's it's kind of a rarity in ball. And we still, I can't remember if there was, I think Ava Nelson had a ball in the first at bat, but no more than 10 pitches. A great inning for Maddie Mesher. Now 3-2. After Kite watches one go low, here's Hull on the payoff, and that's fouled. Again, down the right field side, but out of play. Kind of an uppercut swing here for Kite. Looked like she was going to drag a hit in her first at bat, but she's staying put since. Obviously can handle the bat. Very experienced players here for Washington. This one, another one down the line, but another one hooked. And I wonder if Kirsten Kite plays golf because not because it's a golf swing, but she just has that kind of a hook. Obviously, it's wind aided too.
And Charlie's throwing a curve into the left-hander, so she's out front on the off-speed.
Well, if you can dial it up, get one past, or pull the string and get her out in front. Tough ask here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. That's a fastball down the middle. This one goes the other way. Long run for Presley Spies, and she runs it down and makes the catch with the backhand. Another outstanding defensive play for the Governor outfield. Right on the money, you might say. Highlight play. Presley Spies ran a long way to make that one. That's a highlight play sponsored by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre again, where your money works for you. Here comes Aubrey Chavez. Chavez had a triple down the left field line to score Kite in the first inning with the game's first run.
Yeah, with all those pull fouls down the first baseline, the whole outfield is shifted. And so Spies was actually in left center, and that ball was hit by the lefty late, more towards the left field line. She had to cover a lot of ground to make that catch.
And Chavez right on this one fouls it back. In fact, as you mentioned, Spies, she's still kind of off the line here with a right-handed batter who pulled one down that line earlier. And if Presley's aware of who's hitting here, I think I might shade back over toward that left field line a little bit. But Charlie Hall with a pair of them that are up high. And this one swung on and waved at by Chavez. It's a ball and 2 strikes. 1 down so far, 1 batter down, 1 batter done here in the top of the 3rd inning. Good ball game so far. Washington had a quick start and a 2-0 lead. Still stands as this one curves low and away.
Beautiful pitch by Charlie Hall. Just missing outside.
Dean Vandewille was ready to ring her up, but he's not the umpire, and I think that was low and away. Here comes Hall again, 2-2, and this one will fall, I believe. Well, maybe not. Spies is there again, out behind shortstop, and a shallow fly, another long run And the fly out to Presley Spies. That one not quite as impressive, but still a good play for Presley. I'll tell you what, Dean, if this defense, if this game keeps up defensively, my goodness, I mean, this could be reminiscent of last year's game when these two teams met in Sioux Falls, which is a 1-0 win for the Washington Warriors.
You know, I'm liking what I'm seeing, Brian. Pierre defensively so far is making the plays they need to make.
First one misses here. Nope, it is a strike to the third hitter, Kate Childress, second baseman. Childress had a bunt single. She just put it in the right spot in that first inning. Micah Buffalo made the play on it, but there was nobody covering first. Low and away on the 0-1. Now 1-1. Charlie Hall brings it again. This one rises up and away. And it's 2-1. Childress, a big in stature second baseman. You don't see too many second basemen standing at, I'm guessing, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Good bat here, but it's out of play. And an even count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on.
Charlie's doing a good job of making their batters swing. Do we have a walk, Brian?
Not yet. Batting here in the third inning. 12th batter of the game for Sioux Falls, Washington. This one fouled weakly to the left side. Kim Bazzato over there coaching first base. Washington won their first 8 games of the season before Sioux Falls Jefferson beat them 6-1 on April 23rd. They won another 4 straight after that. But coming into this weekend, the last game they played was Thursday. Pop up in play, and Emma Tylen getting to the fence right in front of the Washington dugout. And then she had to reach for it. That's a tough play for Tylen. She darn near made another highlight defensive play for the Govs. Washington lost to Harrisburg 5-3 in Sioux Falls on Thursday, just their second loss of the season. Harrisburg ahead of them in the power rankings. Jefferson still unbeaten, of course. Saw the Cavaliers yesterday. We'll see Harrisburg later this season. 2-2 once again. Hall pulls the string, but this one curves outside. Tough one to take, but Childress lays off, and it's a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Charlie Hall trying to get out of the third inning. And Childress will send this one out to the left center field gap. Who's got it? It's Keys, the center fielder, and another fine fly ball put away. 3 fly ball outs, but 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Warriors. 2.5 complete. 2-0. Sioux Falls, Washington. Back in a minute with more Pierre Governor softball.
At First Dakota, we don't like to brag about ourselves. So when Forbes named us South Dakota's best bank again, we faced a dilemma. Thankfully, we have the state's best customers, so we're happy to brag about them instead. After all, they inspire us every day. The farmers, the business owners, the families. Without them, we'd be just another bank. So thank you to all of our amazing customers. We wouldn't be here without you. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Wagner Auto Company, South Dakota's oldest auto dealer in Pierre, is your transportation headquarters in central South Dakota. With a great selection of new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep vehicles, and a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. View their entire inventory at WagnerAuto.com. Experience the Wagner Auto difference for yourself by letting them help you with your next set of wheels. Wagner Auto Company in Pierre.
Good game going so far. Welcome back to the complex here in Pierre. 2-0 Sioux Falls, Washington. Sioux Falls Roosevelt out to an 11-0 lead in the third inning on Aberdeen Central. And again, Central, a fairly new program, even as long as we've had fast pitch here in Pierre, Dean. Aberdeen is a fledgling program, just like we were about, it's been 20 years ago now almost. Is 15, 20 years that fast pitch has been in Pierre, and we're still kind of new to things as far as the Sioux Falls area is concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising a town the size of Aberdeen, but they're a big, big soccer town. But it's good to see that program get up and going. a community the size of Aberdeen, you give them a couple years, I see them being solid, Brian.
Terrence Spruill leads off the bottom of the third inning, followed by Emma Tylen, and the top of the order, Micah Buffalo. I think there's 2 pitches gone by, and not so sure Spruill doesn't have an 0-2 count, but the scoreboard still says 0-1. Maddie Mesher dealing for the Warriors. There's one out of the zone away.
Maddie's pitch is one that gets on you rather quick. You don't think it's as fast as it is, and all of a sudden you see that rise ball just coming on you excessively fast. It's impressive.
It is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Terrence Spruill. And she'll fight one off to make sure it's 1-2 here. Foul ball. One thing you hope about good defense is a lot of times you really hope that kind of springboards into good offense. And the Govs have played probably the best 3 innings of defense that we've seen all season long so far in this game, even though they do trail 2-0. Now another rise ball, and Spruill will chase, and another strikeout. That's 5 in a row via the K for Maddie Mesher.
We're seeing a theme here. Her knockout punch is clearly that rise ball again and again, and Pierce chasing it. Mm-hmm. And until they learn to leave that thing up, she's going to keep throwing it.
Now Emma Tylen, one of the smaller strike zones on the Governor lineup, playing catcher again today.
You kind of see Mesher climb the ladder. She starts down low with her curve, and then as she's getting you upside down in the count, she's killing you with her rise ball.
1-0. That one is elevated a little bit. You're absolutely right. So if Emma Tylen's been doing her homework, she probably should try to lay off this next one if it continues to rise up higher. 0-2. 1 out so far, bottom of the third. That one does come up higher. You've done this before.
It's what she's doing. I mean, we've seen it to half a dozen Pierre batters now. She's playing down low at the knees and the waist, and she's raising it to about chest, and then she's doing a knockout punch on an 0-2 rise ball right across the eyeballs, and we keep swinging at it. Yeah, we got to start laying off that and make her bring the ball back down.
First trip through the order, 9 batters for the Governors, 7 strikeouts. And 6 of them are swinging, though. Only 1 strikeout looking.
And the thing about the rise balls, it's delivered at the knee, but it's coming uphill. So for your bat, you're coming in level, and you're more inclined, even if you can hit it, you pop it up. It's just not a good pitch to go after ever. And you really want to train your batters to force the pitcher to bring that pitch back down. But as long as you keep chasing, you're going to keep throwing it.
The 0-1 misses off the outside corner to Micah Buffalo. Now a 1-1, and she'll bloop this one out behind third base, but a good range for Kirsten Kite as she'll range over and put this one away from the shortstop position. And the Governors go 3 up, 3 down for the second straight inning. 3 complete, and the Gales Gas Service scoreboard 2-0. Sioux Falls, Washington Warriors leading. Back in a minute with more Governor Softball.
Black Hills Vacation Home, the Summit on Dancing Sky near Leeds, South Dakota in the popular Powder House Pass development. It's a modern rustic design with over 5,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms and 5 baths for you to enjoy. You'll get gorgeous views of the Terry Peak Mountain Range. There's a community pool to enjoy, and you're close to all the attractions like Deadwood, Sturgis, Spearfish, and a whole lot more. The Summit on Dancing Sky. Visit them at DancingSky.com.
People helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Agriculture is like no other business.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal.
Again to Southeast Pier, the Owyhee Softball Complex. Brian Oakland, Dean Vandewille, and on the call. 2-0. Good ball game so far. Charlie Hull will face the meat of the order for Sioux Falls, Washington, 4, 5, and 6. Maddie Mesher, the pitcher, standing in as Hull sends one up a little bit high on ball 1.
So far, Brian, a very well-played game by both teams. It's a fun ball game to watch right now. Some big plays have been made already.
Obviously, Pierre's going to have to continue making those plays, and Charlie Hall will have to try to keep hitters off balance. Got a 2-0 count here to Mesher, and another curve that goes too far outside. Not getting the Washington hitters to chase. Mesher focused in here as a batter, but doing a heck of a job on the pitching rubber herself. 3-0 now. Hall rocking back. Can't. Well, she does get one to go here. Outside corner. Another curve with some action here. And, the wind again coming out of the north, maybe coming a little more out of the northwest than what we had this morning. That's helping the pitchers out in as far as not pitching into it necessarily. And that dust off of a pitch in the dirt and a leadoff walk blowing right back to us. So it is coming straight northwest now to southeast.
And I think this is a key point in the game, Brian. We have to watch that Charlie's able to hit her spots closely, as these batters are seeing her again. We've got a good ball game that's definitely within reach with us. We've got to watch and make sure we don't have that explosive inning.
Pitcher on with a leadoff walk, and she will get a courtesy runner. This is Ainsley Boos out to do the running honors for Maddie Mesher, and the batter is Josie Beitler. But the first pitch, again, a little bit too high for ball one. Beitler, the center fielder. Another one, much too high. As Thailand able to go up and get that one. Boos getting a good jump off. Might be a good time for a pickoff attempt. We'll see. 2-0, though. Hall could use a strike here. There it is, strike one. Swung on and missed by Beitler, who was a little out in front of it.
I'm with you, Brian. It's got to be a little tempting going after that first base pickoff with that big lead that we're seeing.
So 2-1 on the count. Washington leads 2-0, 2 runs in the first 3 batters of the game. There's a pickoff attempt, but it's just a half-hearted throw this time by Thailand. Micah Buffalo wasn't quite ready necessarily with that one as well. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. As Hall will bring it again. Swung on this one, a weak hit ball. Hall over to her right, flows and guns down. Josie Beitler with a 1-3 putout. Strong throw. Buffalo is there at first. And that was the only play as Mesher's courtesy runner Boos will advance to second.
Boy, the importance of being able to get off the mound quick, Brian. Charlie did a good job of that. Otherwise, there's no way we would have gotten that out.
Swinging bunt, essentially. Now 1 down. Low and in as the batter is Emily Ackerman. She hit a ball hard out to Kenzie Flopmeyer in her first at-bat. On the opposite way, Flopmeyer ranged in, made the play. And Hall will bring the 1-0. And that one comes down and off-speed pitch. 1-1. I think the question was that was a good changeup, but whether it was going to drop enough to come back in the zone. Here's an uppercut swing on a high fastball for Charlie. And Ackerman down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That ball was moving pretty, Brian, on the horizontal plane. I bet that moved 8 inches. Very hard for a batter to square up.
1 down so far. Warriors with a runner at 2. And here's one out to center field as Keys comes into it. She'll throw all the way to third base. The runner comes in and then trips, but still has contact with the bag. That is Boos. And unfortunately, with that throw, Emily Ackerman able to advance to second base after a 1-out single. So 2 runners in scoring position.
That's always a consideration in making that throw. Is you better know you can make it because you are giving up turn that single into a double.
And now 1 just to the right of the second baseman, Sproul. That'll bleed through to the outfield, and 2 runs will score. First hit swinging is Natalie Thompson, and that's a 2-run single, and Washington will double their lead to 4-0. So Boos scores from Mesher from third, and then Emily Ackerman from second base. And go back to that play, Allie Keys. You're really supposed to leave the force alive at 2, but there's another first pitch line drive single goes out to center field for Berkeley Hall. And the Warriors look here in the fourth like they did back in the first inning with back-to-back singles, adding to a leadoff walk. 2 runs in, 2 runners on, still 1 out. Now, Keys, you might as well throw to third, because if you're stuck with a first and third situation, most likely that runner's going to be running to second on a steal attempt anyway. So in fast pitch, maybe that's okay, even though it's not necessarily the fundamentally proper thing to do.
Yeah, you always know when you go to third or home, though, the batter's going to run under that throw.
Yeah. All looking to get one in. That's height-wise a good pitch, but it is inside. Now 2-0 here to the 9-hitter, Rylan Routh, who sent a line out to a lunging and leaping Taryn Spruill at second base. That ended the second inning. All now 3-0.
So I think this is a sensitive spot here, Brian, as the score is not out of line by any means. We got to make sure that we don't open the floodgates here.
But Charlie's putting these good pitches in, and Sioux Falls has started to hit them pretty well. There's a strike in. Ralph taking all the way, 3 balls and a strike. And I think Charlie's trying to be a little more nitpicky, which you have to do anyway, but even more, maybe trying to be even more perfect as this fourth inning has gone on. 3-1 is in, and strike 2. Didn't have the speed that Routh was expecting, so we've got a full count. 1 out with runners at first and second base. 4-0. Washington in front.
And Charlie's off-speed pitch does look like a curveball, so it really screws up batters' timing.
3-2. Big pitch here. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, out number 2.
Brian, that is such a big out, because if Charlie walks that batter, you're thinking as a coach, should I come in with a reliever as we're turning over top of the lineup? Now third base is open, 2 outs. We can get out of here with just the 2-run damage. Well done, Charlie Hull.
This is Kirsten Kite, the top of the order, and a fly ball sent out to right field. Flopmeyer ranging back and back, fighting the sun, and she'll track it all the way in to the glove. Another nice play by a Governor outfielder. Flopmeyer's second impressive catch of the day. 2 runs in on 3 hits plus a walk for Sioux Falls, Washington. 2 runners left on, though. They do get 2, and they up the lead to 4-0 on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard. Let's pause for 30 seconds, and we'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Pierre will try again when we return with more Governor softball.
Farm Credit Services of America, like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
At Dakota Behavioral Health, we offer comprehensive mental health services, including medication management. With offices in Pierre and Winter,
welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Well, the good, solid defensive play, make it a highlight play as Kenzie Flopmeyer right on the money. Highlight plays like that. When you're right on money, you're working with Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you.
Brian, I hate to say it, because anytime you say it, you screw it up and you jinx the team. But, man, our outfield is continuing to make plays today, and these aren't easy catches. Yesterday, we weren't making them. Today, we are, and look at this. We're in a 4-0 game.
And that wind is picking up again, too, so it's only going to get tougher. And I was surprised as Kirsten Kite sent that last fly ball a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. But here's Charlie Hull leading off the 2-3-4. Hitters due up for the Governors as they bat in the bottom of the fourth. Hull, Flopmeyer, and Keys. Only 1 hit so far, a 2-out single for Kenzie Flopmeyer on a blooper that landed right behind the pitching circle, still in the infield back in the first inning. Otherwise, Maddie Mesher has been in command. You look at all of these Sioux Falls pitchers that the Govs have faced. Brooklyn Brown of Sioux Falls Lincoln, Taya Devricks of Sioux Falls Jefferson, and today with Sioux Falls Roosevelt. And it's funny, I can remember the names of yesterday's pitchers, but not today's. But Hinch, Desiree Hinch.
Yes.
Just a 15 strikeout effort. Each one has had a lot of talent. Here's Charlie Hull staying alive after watching strike 2 go by. A pitch ago. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
You know, Brian, hearing a little energy and fire in the Pierre dugout, I think the kids are enjoying what they're doing. You know, they're playing at a high level right now.
Mesher again. Charlie Hull fouls another one off. Charlie does continue to step a little bit to the left here rather than kind of fit into the pitch. But as long as you're staying alive, that's all right. And like you noted earlier, she's closing her stance up a little bit too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's that rise ball, but this one a little easier to pick up as far as the batter's concerned. And it's 2-2.
Charlie's one of those individuals, when she gets in a groove, she can really hit the ball well, and just waiting for her to get going for us.
2-2. That one down further, but missing low. Ball 3.
You know, Brian, all weekend, Charlie has run the pitch count up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's definitely a tough out. We haven't seen her on a whole lot, but she's making good decisions in the box.
Full count here. Mesher down the middle, swinging a miss, strike 3. That might have been a rise ball as well, but
that was a rise ball.
It didn't come up as high as the others have been, but still, it's like Dean Vandewille said, it's just a tough pitch to hit because it never stops rising. It's like it never runs out of gas. So here's Flottmeyer. She swings and misses. Strike 1.
And again, you see Mesher play around the knees and the waist area with moving balls, curve balls, and the like. And then she starts working upstairs. There it is.
Again, yep. And that one coming a little more inside as well. Kenzie Flottmeyer, she knows some of these girls, plays with them in the summertime, has pitched for a Sioux Falls team. Like I mentioned Power yesterday, but I think the name was Boom. There's so many of them in the summertime down in that metro area. And I asked, I think the Jefferson coach yesterday, how many different summer teams do your girls play on off of one high school team? And they probably play on 7 or 8 different teams all spread out. Flottmeyer on a 1-2. Fights one off.
And it's so easy to get into leagues around Sioux Falls, to get a lot of games, get a lot of experience, you know. And that's where having high school ball is helping our peer kids see this level of competition, which is really good.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Flottmeyer. And that one dropping. There have been a few that have dropped here from Mesher. She's trying to incorporate that a little bit more rather than in one regard, sticking with what's working.
Now I expect her to go upstairs after playing down low like she did.
2-2. This one more in the middle of the plate. Yeah, Flottmeyer out in front of it and golfs it out of play. Wide of third base. Still 2-2. 4-0. Sioux Falls, Washington with 2 in the first, 2 in the fourth. Oddly enough, I think the Govs have, they played pretty competitively in keeping Jefferson at bay for a while. There's that rise ball and swing and a miss. Strike 3. It's just impossible to lay off. It's like a high fastball in a league of their own. High hard ones. Can't hit them, can't lay off them.
That's right. You know, but the ball starts at the knee. You're teaching that pitcher to reach for your right knee. So the batter's eye level is looking at the knee and the hand release, but the trajectory is coming uphill. So you're doing a level pitch down low, but sadly that ball is rising as it's coming at you, and you just can't get the hands up. It's an awesome pitch.
Swing and a miss. Straight fastball here to Allie Keys, and that's just the pitch that the way Allie swings that bat, you just want to see her hit one solid and see how far it can go. The contact is the hard part here against Maddie Mesher for Sioux Falls, Washington. Here's another one that curves to the lower edge of the plate or of the zone. Strike 2. And Keys will have to try to stay disciplined. She'll choke up in protect mode. Here with 2 strikes. And strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Another mow-em-down inning for Maddie Mesher, who has 10 through 4 innings. And the Governors go quietly again. We'll go to the 5th, halfway home in this one. Through 4 complete, halftime in our Governor broadcast, sponsored by Wealth Partners, Ameriprise Financial on East Sioux Avenue in the Capitol Creek Center Plaza in Pierre. We'll hear from them. We're back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Governor Softball, River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
In-person and telehealth appointments to fit your schedule. Whether you're managing anxiety, depression, stress, or other concerns, our compassionate team is here to help. We are currently accepting new clients, so take the first step toward better mental health today. Call Dakota Behavioral Health at 605-702-6769 or visit dakotabh.com to schedule your appointment.
Service Master of Pierre has been proudly serving Pierre and Fort Pierre for over 40 years. They offer professional carpet and upholstery cleaning, post-construction cleanup, residential and janitorial services, and thorough disinfection cleans. Service Master Restore provides expert water, smoke, fire, mold, and odor damage restoration, along with drying, dehumidification, and trauma or biohazard cleanup. When disaster strikes, every second counts. Trust the experts who've been doing it for over 40 years. Service Master of Pierre. Get clean today.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit
in studio to keep us up and running at DRG Media Group World Headquarters. The 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for the Warriors. And Aubrey Chavez, the Washington catcher, starts with a ball past her eyes.
Chavez had that awesome hit early in the game down the left field line, correct, Brian?
That's right. Triple in that first inning when they scored 2 quick ones. Second batter of the game, and Washington had a 1-0 lead. She scored on the very next play.
Very quick on the base paths. Took her nothing to scoot around the bags.
Strike one in. Another 1-1, and she'll offer at the high offering here. And somebody, I think, on that Governor dugout made a nice catch, but it is in foul territory.
Is that half an out?
We can count that.
We can count that as half an out.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chavez will try to stay alive here. Charlie Hull gets one in the zone at the knees. Strike 3.
That was a big out, Brian. And I can't emphasize enough Charlie getting out of the last inning here with that situation we are in. And now it gives the coaches the opportunity to pitch Charlie another inning, and she comes right back with an awesome strikeout.
Okay, Childress up next. And she'll foul the first one away.
You really start seeing Charlie now getting into a groove this weekend. I mean, she's spinning the ball beautiful, hitting her spots very well. Difference of rise balls, curve balls, and off speed is really where she's been working.
And look at the 2 teams she's playing, number 1 and number 3 in the power rankings of the ones that she's pitching against. And, you know, the game got away against Jefferson yesterday late in the game, but that was a 6-0 ball game. After 4 innings, here's a roller to short. Hyman's up with it, but a wide throw, and Micah Buffalo gets the foot back on the bag in time. Buffalo comes off the base. Washington says she pulled her foot, and yes, that's the case, and Kim Bazada is going to ask Shane Munch. She saw the foot pull. Now, the question was, did Buffalo get the foot back on? And I think that's what Shane is going to say. And Bazada's asking, well, can you ask your home plate umpire? So we will have a discussion here. I'm not sure exactly whether Buffalo got the foot down first. And the Govs will get the call here, so it is an out on a 6-3 putout. Not a good throw, but Micah Buffalo makes a nice play.
You know, Brian, what we're watching is continued good hitting by Washington, but where, you know, we talked about recipes and how to win a ball game. And right now, the Governors are demonstrating how to keep up with these teams. They are making great defensive plays right now. Charlie's pitching the ball well. And it isn't that Washington isn't hitting some rocket shots. We're just making the plays.
Strike 1 is in on the inside corner here from Hull to Mesher. And now a line drive over Hyman's at short. That one hooks out to left field, left center. Spies up with it, throws into Terrence Sproul. That's a 2-out single for Maddie Mesher, who is on for the second time. Walked and scored in the 2-run 4th inning. And courtesy runner will check in for the pitcher. And again, it's Ainsley Boos. And the 5-hitter, Josie Beitler, the center fielder, will step in. She was out on a 6-6-3 double play in the first inning and out on a comebacker back in the fourth. This one runs up high. Charlie Hull starting with a rise ball this time. You know, if you're going to play and compete with a heavily favored team, like Pierre is trying to do against Sioux Falls, Washington, I mean, the only way to really do that is a base hit will be sent out to right center field. Beitler with a good bat as Keys has to run it down all the way to the warning track. A run will score. Beitler's heading for third and is in with a stand-up RBI triple. Just like that, Washington with 2 outs comes up with a single and a triple and a 5-0 lead. But the only way you're really going to beat them is to get them to swing at pitches that you want them to hit. And in a perfect world, they're going to hit them weakly. You'll be able to make the defensive plays. If they hit them well, you just have to hope you can run them down. But here, with if Washington starts hitting more line drives like Beitler just did, obviously the recipe for success gets a little more tougher to pull off.
And then you got to think about oftentimes it isn't the pitcher doing anything wrong. It's just as we got a wild pitch that kicks down the third baseline, but the runner at third stays home. But it isn't that the pitcher is losing their stuff or not throwing well. It's just that this quality level of hitter is able to time up this pitcher. And, you got to ask yourself the decision, should we be rotating pitchers then to keep them off balance?
1 ball, 1 strike here. There was a foul in the first pitch here. This one is just off the inside edge. 4 ball, 2. The hitter now is Emily Ackerman, the first baseman, singled and scored in the fourth inning. Hit a line drive to Kinsey Flottmeyer out in right field back in the second inning as well. She squared it up twice. And Hall missing low and in. 2-1 now. Nope, 3-1. Hitters count coming for Ackerman. 5th inning, top half, 5-0. And Hull will miss out wide. Ball 4. So runners at first and third as Charlie walks her second batter of the game. Now, rules-wise, and you can fill me in on this because you can swap pitchers in and out, alternate them in fast pitch. Is that right? Or, it's not like in baseball where you take one pitcher out and they're done for the game as far as pitching standpoint is concerned. Obviously, you can move a pitcher to another position. I guess you can bring them right back in too.
Exactly right, Brian. If they wanted to bring another pitcher in, they would just adjust the lineup, keep Charlie on the field.
Charlie with 1 across here after missing first offering to Natalie Thompson. Thompson had a big swing with a 2-run single in that 4th inning, her last at bat. And a fly out to center as well. 1 for 2. 5-0. Runners at the corners here. And a hook shot down the third base line that will be foul.
Brian, and you and I have obviously had the best seats in the house. To me, Charlie's quality of pitches has not diminished any. It's just, again, I think she's doing a great job hitting her spots. And if she can get out of this situation, having only given up the 1 run, I'd consider that a win again.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Thompson, and Thompson able to time this one up, but out to left field it goes, and that one is off the glove of Presley Spies. So as well as the defense has played, this one will be an error as, again, the wind is becoming a bit of a factor. 1 run will score. Josie Beitler in from third. Runner from first advances to third, and that is Ackerman. And unfortunately, an unearned run scores there to make it 6-0. And this all started with 2 outs. Another one behind third base. Long run for Hymans. And that one in her glove, but out. But she ran an awful long way. Can't give her an error on this play given the difficulty degree. But another tough break for the Pierre Governors on what would have been another great defensive play for the Governor defense.
What folks didn't, Hyman just laying out, doing a literal Superman dive in foul territory just off the heel of her glove.
Strike in here Now a ball up high. This is Berkeley Hall, the right fielder, who's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Hyman's made a play in the JV game that we didn't get to watch or didn't get to call, but had a layout in foul territory down the right field line in the JV game against Sioux Falls Roosevelt. Here's a swing and a foul tip.
Charlie doing a backdoor curve on that. Came right at the batter, and that thing broke on the hands. You could not place a ball any better. Back to Olivia Hymans. I do not think the girl's happy unless her jersey is dirty.
Ball and 2 strikes. Hall to Hall. This is Hull, the pitcher, to Hall, the batter. And Berkeley Hall will fight one off out off at third base again. Stay alive at a ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs in the first, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth so far for the Washington Warriors, and all of this started with 2 outs in this 5th inning. 1 and 2 to Hall, and she'll send it out to right field. Flottmeyer will have to run it down, and she does. So another nice play made by the outfield for the 3rd out. 2 runners will be stranded, but Washington comes up with 2 runs on 2 hits, a walk, and an error. They score 2, and they'll update the score to 6-0. That's our score on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard. We pause for 30 seconds. Pierre will try again in the bottom of the 5th when we return with more Governor Softball on River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Andrew.
Futures aren't made by accident. They're dreamt, they're planned, they're discovered. At Northern State University, futures are the result of hard work and grit. NSU is an academic powerhouse with a spirit of exploration and genuine support, where professors know your name and push you to discover what you're truly capable of. But don't take our word for it. When you experience Northern, you'll see the difference here.
The best Western Ramkota Hotel in Rapid City supports all South Dakota student athletes and their families. They are conveniently located off Interstate 90, close to downtown and minutes from the beautiful Black Hills. The Ramkota offers sports and family-friendly rates. Guests can relax for free in the indoor water park. They have 36,000 square feet of banquet and meeting space, and the award-winning Minerva's Restaurant and Bar is located on site. Best Western Ramkota welcomes everyone to beautiful Rapid City, South Dakota.
Need a boost?
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit
Union. The word future endeavors, but at any rate, we're proud of each and every one of them. Here we go, though. Bottom of the 5th inning. This is Ava Nelson swinging and missing. Strike 1 against Maddie Mesher. 12 outs recorded by the Washington defense and the Washington pitcher. 10 recorded via the strikeout. Nelson 0-2.
Ava moved into the 4-hole today. She's really been hitting the ball well all season. 2 rise balls, 2 awesome cuts, just not able to hook up with them yet.
We'll see if this one goes up even higher. Actually, that one gets behind Nelson. That was just a flat-out miss for Maddie Mesher. That's kind of what good pitchers and intimidating pitchers would just give you something to think about and get your mind away from the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, swing and a miss on strike 3. Another K for Maddie Mesher.
Another ball high in the zone, rise ball. She just hitting that spot consistent, and Pierre just keeps cutting at it.
Next attempt, here's Presley Spies. And she'll lay off the first one down low, ball 1. And again, 11 out of 13 outs recorded by the Warriors have been strikeouts. Pierre struck out 15 times out of 21 outs in the first game against Sioux Falls Roosevelt today. 9 of those were caught looking. That hasn't necessarily been the case here today. They are swinging and missing, but that is just Mesher making hitters miss. Spies swings and misses not once but twice now. She's down 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Beautiful peel drop, but on your point, I think Mesher has been setting up her knockout punch rise ball all day, playing low in peels and horizontal curveballs.
Here's Spies, soft liner, and it's on a roller, and it takes a funny hop away from the shortstop, Kirsten Kite. And Presley Spies will be just the second base runner of the day for the Governors. Kenzie Flottmeyer had a pop-up single in the infield in the first inning. And you have to give the shortstop the error here. But Pierre has a base runner, and we'll see if they can move her around. Olivia Hyman steps in.
She gives you a lot of options. Do you bunt with the Speedy Spies? Yep, you do.
And she'll offer at it, even though a curveball heads up outside. And that's strike one. Spies at first.
I think Washington anticipating the situation intentionally threw an outside curve.
They seem to be doing their homework, and I think they know that Pierre's got a pretty good bunter up here. And then she lets it go. Now the runner heads out to second base. The throw is there on a hop. Picked off by Kite and sliding right into the tag is Presley Spies. That'll be a 2-6 put out and a caught stealing.
Perfect throw, Brian.
Absolutely.
Perfect tag.
Well, and an even better receive by the shortstop. That could have been a tough play. It was received on a short hop, but even after picking that, she still had the time to move the glove over and tag right in to Presley Spies sliding into second base. So, second base runner of the game for Pierre, but this one is wiped out on the caught stealing as Hyman's fouls one back to stay alive at 0-2. Mesher again, swing and a miss. Strike three. Two more Ks for Maddie Mesher. And we're through 5 innings complete. 6-0 Washington. Let's pause for a minute this time. Be back with more Pierre Governor softball.
Start feeling better? Atlas Chiropractic in Winter now offers hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This state-of-the-art treatment increases tissue oxygen levels by over 1,200%, helping boost the body's natural healing processes by more than 70%. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy can help with sports injuries, nerve and brain injuries, including concussions, vascular and blood vessel issues, fibromyalgia, and other inflammatory conditions. This treatment is FDA approved and research proven. Visit Atlas Chiropractic in Winter, home to one of the few heart chambers in the state of South Dakota. Call today and start maximizing your healing.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union Press Box.
At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we're making your summer adventures easier than ever. Right now, take advantage of our recreational loan special with rates as low as 5.95% APR and no payments for 90 days. Stop dreaming, start doing. Apply today at OwyheeFederalCreditUnion.coop or stop in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre. Owyhee Federal Credit Union, where we treat you like you own the place because you do.
Sioux Falls, Washington will bat in the top of the 6th inning. They lead 6-0. Obviously important for the Governors to just try to keep this game as close as possible. Another key to success when you're facing a heavy favorite as a big underdog. Just keep them as close as you can. Try to give yourself the best opportunity possible to make something happen late in the game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Brian. And I would say the Govs, all weekend, they've been putting up 7 to 9 runs a game. The pitching quality we've seen has really kept the Governors at bay. That we've been, help me out with scores here. We've been 3 and under each of our games.
That's right. 3 against Lincoln, shutout against Jefferson. Scored 2 against Roosevelt earlier this afternoon, and so far shutout 6-0 being pitched by the Warriors. Rylan Routh leading off. The 9-1-2 hitters due up for Sioux Falls. Routh out on a line out in the second, strikeout victim in the fourth. And 0-2 here. Routh, the third baseman. Nothing fancy from Hull, but just a little bit of a pullback, and this one rides outside.
I do feel, Brian, this is arguably the best game we've played of the 4 we've had this weekend.
For sure. I would say so. Here's one that'll pop out, back out of play. That'll be behind us. Ball and 2 strikes. Routh stays alive. I got to say, I like the look. The black and the orange here for Sioux Falls, Washington. These uniforms are pretty sharp. Look good, play good. That's always the case, right?
And right there, Charlie Hall looked really good with an awesome bending curveball. Strike 3. Our green's pretty good too.
Green and white. Always love the green and white. I could use a little black in these Pierre jerseys myself, but that's all right. Only one jersey that the Governors sport all season long. One down here, top of the order. Here's Kite with the speed, but she'll try to lay a bunt down, and that one is fouled back behind the catcher.
Just the speed she gets out of the box, Brian. What a weapon. You field it clean, you're going to have a tough time getting her out.
0-1 here. Down low. I think that was a good pitch just in case she tried to bunt again, but
agreed.
Kite did not square around.
Pierre defense remains normal depth after that bunt attempt.
1-1. Oh, a high fly. Deep right field. Kite will hit one out of here. That's a home run over the head of Kenzie Flodmeyer against the wind. Maybe a little help from a northeast breeze. The Washington dugout will empty. They will all meet Kirsten Kite, the leadoff hitter, who hits the first home run of the weekend. The last ball she hit sent Flotmeyer to deep right field, and we were surprised at how far that ball carried. Again, Kirsten Kite tacks on another one for Washington, who now leads 7-0. And the wind right now is I feel no wind at all as we're talking about this one. Strike is in to Chavez. There's not much of a pushback against the breeze at all.
No.
On that one. Big shot. Congrats to Kirsten Kite, who hits a big fly. And off the pitcher's glove, Chavez is going to reach as Sproul had to redirect. Made a good effort, but is 2 steps too late, and that'll be an infield single for the catcher, Aubrey Chavez.
Charlie got just what she wanted. The batter was out of balance, reaching for a ball, hit it weakly, just hit it in just away from Charlie. But we couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
Squaring to bunt, showing Chavez will run. That's a courtesy runner. Tylen's throw gets away, and that'll head out into center field. So a stolen base. And try to see who's running here. I think it's 55. I don't have a 55 on my roster, but stolen base. And then an error on the catcher's throw. Second of the game for the Governors, and that puts a Washington runner 60 feet away. Nobody out. 6th inning. Governors have played an outstanding game.
I think
got 2-5.
I think we got one out, Brian.
There is one. No, there is one out. Yep, Ralph struck out to start. I looked down to the 9 spot. So a 1-out home run for Kirsten Kite, who, by the way, with her speed, who needs speed when you hit them out of the park? There's a strike on an off-speed delivery.
What a good job of Charlie coming back now and continuing to pitch, control, hitting her spots, like bending the ball, spinning it like she wants to.
Kate Childress, the second baseman, 1 out of 3 today. 1 ball, 2 strikes, so she'll foul one back. Got a lot of the bat on the ball, but just a little late on that one. Charlie Hull went from a slow off-speed curve to a rising fastball. Childress late on that. Still 1-2. And this one out to short. That'll be played by Hymans. A run will score. Hymans' throw is too high, and that'll end up leaving the field of play. So the Governor's starting to unravel a little bit here. It's an RBI. That will give her an infield single. But an error on the throw. And the Governors will take a timeout here. A play stoppage to talk about a couple of things. 2 runs in, it's 8-0 now, still 1 out. And Dean, the problem here for the Governors is that sometimes you do everything you can to play competitively and stay tight with a clearly better team. But sometimes the game is just too long. You've done everything you can for 4 or 5 innings. You get here to the 6th, and one mistake can really kind of snowball, and that's really what the Governors are facing right now. And I think this is a good mound visit here for Sam Koenneke. Timeouts, by the way, sponsored in our broadcast by the folks at Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. But really a tough spot here, and it becomes this is where you see the mental part of the game come into play.
Totally agree. And you're right, Brian. You can feel it right now. And the Governors have been playing with such confidence. They have looked sharp. So Charlie's been very composed. For any who know the young lady, she's a very intelligent gal. And again, very composed on the mound. So they just have to get it back. Do what's gotten them here so far, which is solid defense. And, not let this keep going, if you will, with 2 errors here this inning.
So again, I gave an infield single to Kate Childers, but advancing to second on the errant throw. Give her an RBI, whether it was an error all the way or not, as the run would have scored anyway. 2 errors in the inning, 2 runs in. It's 8-0. Now 4 different innings that the Warriors have scored 2 runs each, and we're in the 6th. Meschert will hit one out to left field. Spies will pick it up on a backhand. Childers will round third, and head for home and score. And Maddie Meschert has an RBI knock for the Warriors. 3 straight have all come in for Sioux Falls, Washington. The lead grows to 9.
Good play by Spies, backhanding that single, and you just can't overemphasize the importance of hitting your cuts and not throwing the ball around.
Inning started with a strikeout, but then a 1-out home run for Kirsten Kite. In the top of the order, a single by Chavez, a single by Childers, plus an error, and a single by Maddie Meschert. Ainsley Boos is checked in to run for the pitcher again. Here's one out down the right field line, and Flottmeyer can't come down with this one. And this is the first time Kinsey has had one slicing away from her, which is her backhand side, a left-handed thrower. I think it does land foul, and Beitler will try again.
Kens is right on the line now, expecting that ball to be pushed down the right field line again.
Still opening up a huge hole in the right center field gap.
It is. Yeah, really, your outfield, you want to see them moving together. Personal preference, I like leaving a line, not leaving 2 holes up the left center, right center gaps.
Strike at the knees is in, though, from Charlie Hull. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 6th, and another one popped up. That'll find its way out of play. As it was Tylen, the catcher, over for a look. Beitler had a ringing triple her last at-bat to score the first of 2 runs in the 5th inning.
You just continue to see Charlie being composed on the hill. Another beautiful pitch down low. 1-2 count, good waist pitch. If she swings at that, it induces a grounder, potential double play. It's right where you want to put that ball. Well done, Charlie Hull.
Good job by Beitler tracking it all the way, though. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's one up high, and that's a pop-up behind shortstop. Ranging back is Hyman. She'll put it away for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well done by Charlie, moving the ball around, getting the miss hit. I know Hyman had the overthrow here, but she's been playing some really good ball today. Very aggressive, made some big plays for the Governors today.
9-0 Washington leading. 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. And Charlie down low and inside here. First pitch to Emily Ackerman. Ackerman's been a little quiet today, but that's not to say she hasn't had a productive day. 1 for 2 has hit 2 balls hard, singled and scored in the 4th inning, worked out a walk back in the 5th, and she had a hard hit ball out to right field back in the 2nd inning too. Strike 1 is in from Hull. So now 2 down, 1 runner out there. That's still Mescher's courtesy runner. And strike 3, not caught, but down to first. Tylen will feed to Micah Buffalo. And that'll be a 2-3 put out on a strikeout for Charlie Hull to retire at the side in the 6th. But 3 runs, keyed by a home run from Kirsten Kite. 3 hits and 1 runner left on base. We're through 5.5. It's 9-0. Sioux Falls, Washington leading. Back in 30 seconds with more Pierre Governor softball.
It's out there waiting for you, ready to spring up out of nowhere. Yep, it's your lawn. And if your mower doesn't cut it anymore, head over to Grossenberg. Right now, it's Lawnmower Week, where you can get a great deal on a John Deere lawn tractor or zero-turn mower. They're machines built to last and deliver a beautiful cut, making them a long-term value. Stop in during Lawn Week and be sure to ask about special low-rate financing. Or shop online at grossenberg.com.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union Press Box.
Here we'll come to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. Welcome back here, River 92.7, your official voice of the Governors. Brian Oakland with Dean Vandewille, as you are listening to Pierre Governor Softball. Governor Softball on KGFX FM, River 92.7. A member of DRG Media Group, live streaming at drgnews.com. Brian Oakland play-by-play, Dean Vandewille on the call as well. Live ticket is here once again. They'll be with us, we presume, on Thursday in our next broadcast with Pierre host Mitchell. Pierre's got Brandon Valley down in the Metro on Tuesday, and that'll be a tough one, of course. Favorable matchup, I would say, against Mitchell on Thursday, and then they got Sturgis on Friday. And Sturgis, they seem to have a better program and better teams year in and year out than people really believe or assume them to be.
Yeah,
strike at the knees, by the way, Terrence Sproul. 3 pitches in, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, historically, Sturgis has put together a good program. You're exactly right, Brian. They've been doing it for years.
1-2 Sproul leading off the bottom of the 6th for the Governors. Foul one off on the first base side. Darren trying to make more and more contact. The Governors could use contact of any kind. In fact, in fair play, they have again fallen victim to the strikeout on a number of occasions here. And that one is a base hit. To the right of the second baseman, diving is Childress, but you can't come up with it. There's a solid knock and a leadoff hit for the Governors. Second hit of the game. And Coach Kim Bazada coming out to check on something. And the only thing I can think of is maybe she had somebody else batting for Pierre instead of Terrence Sproul, but I've got Sproul in my lineup. Now, the one thing I wonder is, does she have the wrong number for Terrence Sproul? Because early on we had that lineup card that Pierre gave to us where Hyman's and Sproul's numbers were flip-flopped. But I think by the time the lineups were issued to the umpire, the Governor coaching staff got that fixed. But we've got a little play stoppage here for a coach's discussion. Timeout, so to speak, sponsored by Coca-Cola Bottling in Pierre. And Eric Lusk is going to have to chat with Sam Kinnicky on the Pierre coaching side of things. And they are looking at the lineup card.
And you're right, Brian. Those were the 2 players that we saw the numbers transposed. Taryn doing what she's been doing all season, tough at bat in the lineup, and she's been hitting that ball to the right side. Quick hands. It's good to see her get a hit again, and hopefully we can get a rally going.
Okay, so, and again, I'm speculating. I'm thinking that Sioux Falls, Washington has a copy of the card that was in error, but the one that was the official lineup card given to the umpire was corrected, and that's what Eric Lusk just explained. So 4 and 8. That was actually something we made the call on just to make sure the Pierre coaches were aware of that in the hopes that a situation like that didn't come up. Dragging a bunt, good effort by Tylen, but it's outside of the third baseline. That'll be a foul ball. So a leadoff single for Terrence Sproul here in the bottom of the 6th. Tylen will try again as third baseman will cheat in. First baseman, not quite yet. Squaring again, but pulling back, this time on a rise ball. If you're Matty Mesher and you know a bunt's coming, that's about as tough of a pitch to bunt as any, is just run it up high. And I think that one was pitched by design. 1 ball, 1 strike here to the 9-hitter for the Governors. But a good 9-hitter at that. Strike is through, even though Tylen checks her swing. So a runner on with nobody out. This is, Pierre's best opportunity to try to get something started. Mesher on the 1-2, Tylen, and this will be a pop-up wide of first base. Good range for Emily Ackerman. She will range over and put one away for the first out of the 6th. Still got some cheering going on with Roosevelt and Aberdeen Central, but they are into the JV game over there. Roosevelt, presumably with the comfortable win over the Golden Eagles. Micah Buffalo, as their lineup rolls over, the hitter for Pierre.
And you see that rise ball, Brian, Micah was able to lay off that. So now it kind of forces the pitcher to come down in the zone with Micah showing that control and not chasing that pitch.
1-0. Here's one foul back. And, as that pitch misses, the first pitch missed. And I'm thinking, Dino, Maddie Mesher, first pitch strikes are a good statistic, your first pitch strike percentage. And I think her first pitch strike percentage, whatever it is today, is outstanding. Even though she missed that one. Here's Buffalo fouling one away. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And as you well know, you get that first pitch strike in and allows that coach and pitching staff to just really set the batter up. You're just ahead.
1-2. And low this time, and a little bit outside as well. Runs to 2-2. Sproul still at first with 1 out.
It's so important to change that batter's eye level, and Maddie Mesher has done that well all day.
2-2. This one right down the middle. Buffalo gets a swing on it, but Childers ranges to her left and picks it up and dishes on to first. As Buffalo will be retired, Sproul is able to advance to second, but a nice play, and you could say Kate Childress right on the money with a solid defensive play. Washington hasn't needed those solid plays, those highlight-type plays in this game, but they get a well played out here from their second baseman, right on the money. Plays like that brought to you by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre. Now Charlie Hull, the hitter, with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Let's see, the Governors have not had a runner in scoring position today until now here in the 6th inning.
With Taryn.
Back down lower in the zone, but that one at the knees, strike 1. Charlie would love to get a base hit here just to score 1 run, even to put the Governors on the board. They haven't been, they were shut out by Jefferson yesterday, and that was the first time all season. Here's one down the right field line, but slicing foul. And Hull will have to try again. A little inside-out cut that time. Compact swing, but again, everything slices when you hit them like that. And that's the case here. 0-2. Pitcher to pitcher. Pierre pitcher is the batter here. This one hit to the left side and a diving catch at third for Rylan Routh. The line out to end the inning. And another highlight play for Sioux Falls, Washington. Routh is right on the money thanks to Rounds Financial Services in Pierre. A leadoff single squandered for the Governors. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. We've got 1 inning to go as Sioux Falls, Washington leads on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard 9-0. Back in 30 seconds. Washington hits when we return with more Pierre Governor softball.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
When you're thinking of a new or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV,
welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union
Complex. Again, Maddie Mesher has been outstanding on the pitching rubber for Sioux Falls, Washington, and this one hasn't needed a lot of defense behind her, but she did get a couple of sparkling plays behind her to close out that inning and preserve a shutout so far. 9-0. Governors will have to play defense one more time As we come back out to the top of the 7th inning, Natalie Thompson, Berkeley Hall, Rylan Routh, who just made that sparkling play, due up for Washington, as some would say. Just goofing off a little bit. Strike in here, 1 ball, 1 strike. Thompson's had a productive day, 2-run single to highlight a 4-run or a 2-run 4th inning. She drove both in. Reached on an error in her last at-bat. Is a pop-up in the infield here just at third base. And this is Ava Nelson who is able to put the high one home. And the first out recorded.
You know, really so far, Brian, I think Charlie Hall has pitched herself a really good game. Solid. Looks as good here in the 7th as she did in the 1st.
First out in Berkeley Hall, who has a 2-for-3 day going. 2 solid knocks and then a fly to right. And her last at bat, which was in the 5th inning. Ball 1 on the first one. Here's one that's on the inside half, and that one turned on by Hall and hit well foul. So many of these hitters, even when they hit them foul, they just get solid contact and they're barreling balls up. Hall takes something off of this one, but Hall is on it again, and she'll hit a single on the ground through the left side hole. 3rd single of the day for Berkeley Hall, the right fielder. And that'll bring up Routh, who I think is the only Washington hitter without a single hit today. She's 0 for 3, but hit a line out. Had a hit stolen from her by Taryn Spruill. Here's a wild pitch by Charlie Hall. And Berkeley Hall will advance 60 feet up to second base.
Supporting what you're saying, Brian, you know, all 4 Sioux Falls teams we've watched this weekend have just up and down the lineup, hit the ball well, hit it hard. There's not really a weak batter that we've seen.
They're in a 9-0 game. This one out to Spruill. She'll play it cleanly and a good throw. Routh is retired in an 0 for 4 day. Tough day, even though she's played, all in all, pretty good, done a pretty good job. The Warriors will get the top of the order to bat one more time, and Kirsten Kite, who hit a home run in her last at-bat, that keyed and started a 3-run rally in the 6th inning. And Charlie will put a medium speed pitch across, and Kite seemed to be a little surprised by that one.
Almost kind of froze her.
And I wonder if Kite might have been thinking, well, this isn't going to be a strike. I just hit a home run off of her my last at bat. Here's one. It's a check swing. Rolled to the third base coaching box. Kim Bazada, kick, save, and a beauty.
So you hit a home run and you follow that up with slapping to third?
Well, that was a check swing hit, actually. So
yeah. But my goodness, does she get down the line fast, Brian?
Oh, it's one of yeah. I mean, that's what you love to see. One of the things I love seeing about these teams is just to see what makes them so good. And a quintessential leadoff hitter like Kite is, well, maybe one of the first key ingredients. Fly ball out to left. Spies puts it away. Just a one-hander, but that'll be out number 3 as Washington goes quietly in the 7th inning. A 9-0 lead for the Warriors, though. 1 minute, and they'll try to close the door on the Governors when we come back with more Pierre Governor softball.
We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union Press Box.
Well, we'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning as the Governors are down to one last at-bat, trying to get something going here, trying to get on the board for the first time. They've held Washington off the board in 3 innings. Washington with 2 in the first, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and then 3 in the 6th. And again, as Kenzie Flotmeyer tries to bunt for a hit, lunges at it and will pop it foul back toward the Governor dugout. But, Dino, you just mentioned, too, Charlie Hall, we feel, has pitched a pretty good game. But even though you hold Washington, a good hitting team, really a great team all around, when you hold them to 2 runs in an inning, you feel sometimes that can be a win. Flotmeyer's going to bunt again, but 1-3, and that's a putout. He just got it back to the pitcher a little too quick. But even 2 runs in an inning, on average, when you're scoring in 4 innings, that's still going to be, probably too big of a lead to come from behind, to come from behind on. Obviously, 9-0. You don't expect Pierre to really challenge to come from behind and get a victory in this case. But it's just amazing how, even over the course of the innings, even though you're playing pretty well, that lead can just grow and grow. And Washington just keeps bringing the pressure, especially as they roll their lineup over and over, time and time again.
Well, I think as we see, it's 4th time through the lineup, and all 4 Sioux Falls teams, we've seen that consistent pressure you're describing, Brian, that they're not, even if it's not a big inning, it's always 1 or 2 per inning. You're exactly right. And you're seeing a level of pitching out of these Sioux Falls teams that is something that I think for the Pierre kids need to really work on and start adjusting to this higher level of movement and pitching that they're seeing.
1-1 to start for Allie Keys. Now this one is low for ball 2.
And this is a game I can walk away from being proud of how our kids played. And, and I think the score is a little deceiving for, I think, how well our Pierre kids played on the field here. So having said that, though, that constant pressure you described, Brian, of 1 to 2 an inning, that's what we need to learn to retaliate with ourselves. We need to learn how to hit these hard pitchers to keep up.
Keys fouls back, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maddie Mesher still in very much command so far. Pop up in the infield behind the pitching circle. This one out close to second base, and Kite ranges over from the shortstop position to put it away, and Pierre down to 1 more out. It'll be Ava Nelson batting. The strikeouts haven't come so much in the last couple of innings as of yet. We still have Mesher with a dozen of those. And we talk about the big inning that Pierre has been giving up time and time again in the games that they've lost this season. We had that big inning in the loss to Roosevelt earlier today, the 6-run inning, middle of the game that made it a 9-0 game at the time. Pierre lost that one 9-2. Obviously, they've avoided the big inning here, but it's still a few crooked numbers. And, by math rules, I guess it still builds and builds and builds. These games are long. 7 innings is a lot longer, especially when you think of fast pitch than you think it might be.
And it's a long time to try to keep a good team down. You're exactly right. I mean, you may hold them for 3-4 innings, but they break out like they do. And like you say, you're in a 9. It doesn't feel like 9-0. It really doesn't. But like you say, that's exactly what we're up against. And Messer, you see these different strategies in these pitchers keeping our Pierre hitters at bay.
Yeah, 1 ball, 2 strike. Here's Nelson out over the shortstop. There's a line drive out into left center field. Nelson, who's had a tough day offensively, even though she hit the ball well yesterday. It's her first hit of the day after 2 strikeouts in this one, so a 2-out single in the inning, and the effort will be prolonged here for the Pierre Governors. Presley Spies will be next. She reached on an error from the shortstop her last at bat, but was caught stealing, trying to take second base. Here's a swing and a miss. Strike 1. Mesher now, at least on that pitch, looks like she might just decide that she'd really like to close this one out herself. Good looking pitch for strike 1. Here's one, a little bit higher. Rise ball, strike 2. Nelson at first base.
That ball started at the kneecaps and ended at the eyeballs.
So 0-2. to Presley Spies. Mesher, nope, that one's outside. Just a different look. She has changed her tactics a little bit, and maybe you're trying to work on some things when you have a game well at hand.
Just a constant change of position, making you move your eyes as a batter.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch to Spies, high and away. Now 2-2. Mesher has the luxury of letting her defense do their job as well. Yesterday, Taya Devricks, I mentioned, had 15 strikeouts. That was out of 18 hitters. Here's Spies down the left field line, but that'll hook foul. That was a 6-inning game, so it was an 18-out game, and Taya Devricks did strike out 15. No, that was 15 was Hinch today from Sioux Falls Roosevelt. Devricks struck out 13 out of 18 yesterday. So far, 12 out of 17 put away via the strikeout here from Maddie Mesher. 1-2 up high, and there's that 13th strikeout. That will be strike 3. Out number 3 in the 7th, and this one comes to an end. Governors, 2 of the top 3 teams that they faced on the season this weekend, and they both end in a shutout. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on in the 7th. But your final score on the Gales Gas Service scoreboard, a 9-0 blanking of the Pierre Governors by the Sioux Falls, Washington Warriors. Governors fall to 4-9, dropping their 5th straight ball game now, or 6th straight actually. Sioux Falls, Washington wins their 2nd straight, winning both of their games today, one over Aberdeen, and they beat the Pierre Governors today. They improved to 15-2 on the season. Good win for the Warriors. Governors played well, but obviously a big underdog, and Washington with the victory. Scoreboard brought to you by Gales Gas Service in Pierre. Use their budget plan. Keep full service to stay warm when you need to, but manage your heating needs all year long with Gales Gas Service in Pierre. We'll pause for 3 minutes, come back, give you the full post game coming up, the recap of the box scores, the line scores, of course, our big plays of the game from Hermanson Endodontics, your Cowboy Country Store's player of the game, all part of the Family Dental postgame coming back in 3 minutes. Pierre Governor softball here on River 92.7 and drgnews.com.
Dr. Ryan.
At Ringneck Energy, their mission is to produce renewable energy that adds value to grain and livestock production, enhances the income of their investor partners, and provide a safe, rewarding work environment. Located at 901 Redwood Avenue in Oneida, South Dakota. Call 605-945-6900 or check ringneckenergy.com. A proud supporter of local schools and wishes all students the best of luck in all their activities during the school year, creating economic opportunities in our community.
Pests don't wait, and neither should you. At Olson's Pest Technicians, we've been protecting homes and businesses for over 55 years. From bats in the attic to rodents in the walls, ants in the kitchen, termites underground, even swarms of mosquitoes. We've seen it all, and we handle it all. With expert technicians, ethical treatments, and service across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa, you can count on Olson's to get the job done right. Contact us today at Olson's Pest Technicians. Family owned, community trusted.
Wow, Bill, you're walking so much better. What did you do?
Well, I got so tired of the pain and nearly fell. And one of my friends recommended physical therapy at Winter Physical Therapy. And you know what? My back also stopped hurting.
Huh. So how did you get started?
My doctor wrote me a referral, but that's not always needed. Turns out you always have a choice where you want to go.
So why did you choose Winter Physical Therapy?
I love to support our locally owned small businesses, and quite frankly, they give great personalized care.
Winter Physical Therapy. Exceptional care.
What if the market shifts? What if the margins on your farm keep getting tighter? Simplot Grower Solutions is here to help. Simplot Crop Advisors know South Dakota corn, soybean, wheat, and other crops like you do because they live and work here. So, even if the market shifts or the margins keep getting tighter, you'll have the insight and support to keep moving forward. Simplot Grower Solutions.
The
Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierre, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
For over 70 years,
Welcome back to the Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
For all your service needs with convenient scheduling and in-stock parts. Capital City Ford, Lincoln, Toyota, and Pierre, 605-224-7378.
Well, a 9-0 victory for the Sioux Falls Washington Warriors. We welcome you back to the complex in Southeast Pierre as the Governors again dropping their sixth straight. They were 4-3 at one time, but of course, schedule only gets tougher as you start getting into these Metro teams that they'll face. They do have another Metro team in their next game on Tuesday down at Brandon Valley. Got Mitchell coming to town on Thursday for a makeup game and a rescheduled game out at Sturgis also on Friday heading in to graduation weekend. Washington gets 2 in the first. They were held at bay in the second and the third, but then 2 in the fourth, 2 more in the fifth, and 3 in the sixth. That's their 9 runs. The Governors just had 4 base runners in this game, and only one got as far as second base. A 3-hit shutout pitched by Maddie Mesher of the Washington Warriors. Meanwhile, Charlie Hull, who did pitch a pretty good game against a really good team, still giving up 9 runs on 13 hits. I've got 8 of those runs earned, actually. Charlie only walked 1 batter and did strike out 3. Mesher did not walk a batter and struck out 13, including the last one, all along the way in that 3-hit shutout. Solid game for Maddie Mesher as the Warriors pick up a 14th victory in 16 tries. Their box score is, let's give you the recap first. As they started in that first inning, and right away, Kirsten Kite shows her speed with a bunt single, stole second, then comes in on an RBI triple down the left field line by Aubrey Chavez, and Washington led 1-0. Chavez then comes in on a bunt single by Kate Childress, and that made it 2-0. But the Governors get a 6-6-3 putout turned in by Olivia Hymans to end the threat after Mesher had flied out to center field as well. Nice play and good defense, and that's what kind of a recurring theme in the first half of this game for the Pierre Governors. They had by far their best defensive game of the weekend here. But Pierre obviously didn't do anything offensively all game long. They did get a 2-out single and a pop-up that landed behind the pitching circle, but none of the infielders for Washington could get it, but Flottmeyer was stranded at first. A 2-out single for Berkeley Hall for the Warriors in the second inning, but then Rylan Routh hit a line out straight to Taryn Spruill, who had to lunge and leap, and she catches it high with the left hand. Washington went 3 up, 3 down with 3 fly ball outs in the third inning, and every one of them a pretty good, tougher play than normal. But the Warriors come up with, in the fourth inning, with a leadoff walk from the cleanup hitter, Maddie Mesher. Her courtesy runner comes around to score, helped by a 1-out single from Emily Ackerman, and then Natalie Thompson with Ackerman at second and Mesher's courtesy runner Boos at third. It is Natalie Thompson who delivers a 2-run single to score both of those runs. Berkeley Hall followed with another single, but Rylan Routh strikes out to end the threat with just 2 runs scored and a 4-0 lead. Then in the fifth, the Pierre fourth, they strike out in order. And in the fifth inning, Washington goes 2 up, 2 down in the 2-3 spots. But then Mesher gets a 2-out single, and Josie Beitler gets a triple this time, which I believe was to the left center field gap. That scores Boost from first, running for Mesher. And then Beitler comes in to score after Ackerman walks. But Natalie Thompson hits one out to left field. That was a misplay for Presley Spies, and that allowed the runs to come in. So they score 2. The first one was earned as one of those was going to be in. Well, anyway, first one was earned. The second one unearned as the Warriors come up with 2 in the fifth, and then they add 3 in the sixth inning after a first batter strike out. Kirsten Kite comes up, and the left-hander will batter one out to the right field fence, and clear it for a solo home run for the leadoff hitter. That scores one, and then Chavez comes up with a one-out single. Childress follows with a single after a stolen base with the throw going into center field from the catcher, and that put Chavez on third. Childress scores or drives in the second run of the inning, bringing Chavez in from third, and then Matty Mesher will drive in Childress with that third run of the inning. That made it 9-0 through 6, and even with Mesher on first, Beitler pops out, and then Emily Ackerman strikes out. 2 strikeouts in that inning for Charlie Hull, even though they gave up 3, and that made it 9-0. Governors had a chance with Taryn Spruill leading off the 6th inning. She advanced to second on a ground out, but a line out by Charlie Hull caught by the third baseman Rylan Routh to keep Spruill from being able to score. 7th inning, Washington got a 1-out single, but that was it. The Governors get a 2-out single in their half of the 7th, but that is it. A 13th strikeout of the game makes Presley Spies the last out of this one, and Washington wins it 9-0. Single hits for the Governors: Kenzie Flottmeyer adding Ava Nelson and Taryn Spruill. And Presley Spies was also on an error by the shortstop, the only error on the Washington side. The box score for the Warriors offensively has a 2-for-5 day for Kirsten Kite, scoring 2 runs, driving 1 in with her solo home run. Aubrey Chavez, 2-for-4, scores 2, drives in 1. Kate Childers, 2-for-4, scores 1, drives in 2. And Maddie Mesher, 2-for-3. 2 runs scored, 1 run driven in. Josie Beitler had an RBI triple and 4 at-bats. Emily Ackerman scores a run, going 1-for-4. Natalie Thompson, 1-for-4 with a 2-run single. And even out of the 8-hole, even though 3 singles for Berkeley Hall, she was stranded every time, but still a 3-for-4 day. Tough hitters up and down for the Washington Warriors. Charlie Hull for Pierre goes 7 innings, giving up 13 hits, 9 runs, 8 of them earned, walking 1, striking out 3. And Maddie Mesher, much better. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits given up, no runs, no walks, 13 Ks. And Washington, again, with a 9-0 victory.
Brian,
Impressive
showing. And, and as far as for the Pierre Governors, this last game here against Washington they made some great defensive plays. You saw them step up the play that they need to show against this level of hitting. And we saw it in the outfield. We saw it in the infield. We didn't see many miscues. Charlie pitched a good game, but you're seeing against these very good teams, the pressure just stays on. They keep their foot on the gas pedal. They can hit up and down the lineup. I think my takeaway, Brian, from watching these 4 games, we've seen a very heightened level of pitching, great setups. We saw with Jefferson, the curveball was absolutely phenomenal. And we saw here, like with Maddie Messer, a beautiful rise ball, but you really saw the Pierre hitters struggling with this high level of pitching. And I think the takeaway here is if we can start shoring up how to hit that level of pitching, that's probably where our emphasis needs to be right now.
Yep. And again, just learning everything, hopefully learning things and being able to apply it the next time you go. I'm sure Brandon Valley is going to have a very difficult pitcher to face when the Governors hit the road on Tuesday as well. We'll see how that goes. But as it is, this one is a 9-0 victory for the Washington varsity. Pierre 4-9, Washington 14, make it 15-2 now. I mentioned 14-2, but 2-0 today puts them at 15-2 rather than 14-2. One of the top teams in Washington was the state runner-up to Sioux Falls Jefferson in last year's state championship game. Good win for them, as the Governors will retool coming up on Tuesday. We do have them on Thursday on the air with a home game against the Mitchell Colonels. Talk more about that in a bit. Let's take a 2-minute break, and we'll come back and tell you how Washington was able to do it with the help of the big plays of the game that are brought to you by Hermanson Endodontics. Big plays are next. This is Pierre Governor Softball.
From the early days of South Dakota statehood through today's digital revolution, BankWest has remained committed to helping customers and communities succeed. BankWest Associates uphold this commitment by developing innovative products, tailoring financial solutions to customer needs, and actively supporting community causes. For a bank committed to helping you and your community prosper, choose BankWest. BankWest, convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Do you dream of a custom home built within your budget and done on time? Kruger Contracting can make that dream a reality. They're a trusted home builder since 2003, and they're going to be upfront and open about cost and transparent about where your money is going when it comes to your new home. Their skilled crew will manage construction of your new home from start to finish. They're located in Pierre and can build your home in Pierre, Fort Pierre, or the surrounding area. Call 605-222-2523. Visit KrugerContracting.com or find Kruger Contracting on Facebook.
From the first wails of surprise to first day of school questions, playground adventures, learning to drive stress, and graduation cheers, they'll always be your little sunshine. At Avera Children's, we get kids, teens, and parents too. We'll step you through first checkups, milestones, sickness, and specialized care when your child needs it, and treat them like our own every step of the way. Learn more at avera.org/children's.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre is here for you. They make it easy when looking for a new vehicle, getting all available vehicle information so you can spend less time researching and more time enjoying your purchase. Shop their extensive inventory from home at CapitalCityFordToyota.com or stop into Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Count on them for all your service needs with convenient scheduling and in-stock parts. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota in Pierre, 605-224-7378.
Family Dental from Pierre and Gettysburg. Post-game continues. Welcome back as the Hermanson Endodontics big plays are up, and the big plays come from the Washington offense. We had highlight plays turned in by the Governors, a couple by the Warriors. Of course, highlight plays, when you're right on the money, are brought to you throughout our season by Rounds Financial Services in Pierre, where your money works for you. But the big plays of this game, I think you go right off the bat. As one place for big plays, 3 batters in. Washington had a 3-0 lead, or a 2-0 lead. The big hit was Aubrey Chavez with an RBI triple down the left field line. But even as this game was just 2-0 through 3 innings, Washington comes up, they scratch and claw, a few hits put together after a leadoff walk in the 4th inning for 2 runs. But even in the 5th inning, and Dean, this is for me, this is the big play of the game because Pierre has 2 up, 2 down in the 5th inning, but a single from Maddie Mesher, and then Josie Beitler drives one to the left center field gap to score Mesher, and then she scored a little bit later herself. But with 2 outs, Pierre just could not get that 3rd out, and if you want to win games and if you want to make it difficult for teams, stay at it. Even if you've got 2 outs, you never know what kind of rally you can spark, even though Washington gets 3 with the home run. And Kirsten Kite, you can certainly call that a big play of the game offensively. But a 4-0 game, and you've got them, you're playing well. You've got 2 up, 2 down, but unfortunately a few hits still to come after that. Washington makes it a 6-0 game. Now it starts to get to be that point where, as a Governor offensive player, you're just thinking, this isn't going to work out in our favor, I don't think. And to me, that's where it is with that 2-out rally that Washington had for a couple of runs in the 5th inning.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Brian. And, if there's an MO I've seen of the Pierre Governors, they've gotten to this type of situation repetitively through the season. And the thing that I don't want people to overshadow, look at the score and think, well, they're playing poor ball. That is not the case. Like I say, they're giving up that one situation like you're citing, and they're playing good ball otherwise. I jokingly attributed to my golf game where I have 7 awesome holes, and 2 of them I don't do so well. Mm-hmm. And, and if that's really for Pierre right now, it's really what we saw here in this Washington game was solid play. Pierre was a very solid team. They were fun to watch. They were making big plays, and that's what's in there right now. So don't let the score overshadow. But if we can get that under control, that example like you cited, that kind of keeps happening to them, this is going to be a very competitive team.
We did a little math in that break, and we can make it a stat of the weekend as well. And the one thing that Pierre just hasn't seen is the quality of pitching that they saw all 4 games against these Sioux Falls schools. Even against good teams like O'Gorman, they scored 8 runs. Might have been later in the game. T area better than their record indicates. They had a 7-5 game that went down to the wire, and then some in an 8-inning loss. There's good teams out there all over the state. It does kind of center around the metro, but what we figured out was the Governors. They were retired on 81 outs over the course of 4 ball games. You get 21 outs a game, but they only played 6 against Jefferson, 6 innings that is, so 18 outs there, 21 in 3 other games, 81 total outs. And as we figured out, they struck out 51 times out of those 81 outs. And that's just, again, ramping up the pitching, the quality of pitching. Pierre has a lot of adjustments that they have to make, and just they need a lot of experience against that. And you don't get a lot of experience when you only play these teams once per year. Granted, you just played 4 of them, and you can kind of count them all at once. Maybe that helps them when they go to Brandon Valley on Tuesday. Maybe they can continue to struggle. I guess we'll see. I don't expect that to happen when they play Mitchell and Sturgis later on in the week. And those are the teams, if the Govs are going to pick up victories, those are the types of teams that they just have to try to continue to build that confidence. But your stat of the weekend, 51 out of 81. And it is what it is. It's not a dig. It's certainly not a positive. It is what it is, and it's just something that Pierre has to get better at.
And as a coach, as you're looking at that type of stuff, you got to think what's going on. And and in 2 of the games, I can't remember Lincoln verbatim anymore, but as far as for games 2 and 3 that we had against Jefferson, and then this morning that game was against Roosevelt. Yep. Huge curveball pitchers, massive bends, and we saw our strides being pretty consistent, striding to the pitcher versus trying to take that curveball to right center, to right field. And we're not used to seeing that exceptional control. As for example, Roosevelt, she kept hitting that front corner over and over and over, and we just couldn't adjust. So to me, that would be something I would want to practice. I'd want to work at that in practice. And then our last pitcher here for Washington, she did a great job of setting up, working low, going high with the rise ball, and we chased all day. So, those are things as a coach, I would want to go to practice and have them face that over and over and over to start learning how to identify the spin of the pitch, and then learning how to attack and take that pitch, that curve to right field, or that rise ball, just flat lay off of it and make that pitcher bring that ball down into my wheelhouse.
Absolutely. That's quite a complete rundown from Dean Vanderwille and myself, Brian Oakland, and Plays of the Game, brought to you by Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre. And your player of the game coming up. We'll take a quick break. Your player of the game, brought to you by Cowboy Country Stores, is next. This is Governor Softball.
Quality comes first at Hermanson Endodontics. Dr. Brian Hermanson serves Central South Dakota with specialty root canal treatment. Hermanson Endodontics strives to provide treatment that's not only comfortable, but also provides the best possible outcome. They do this by effective and timely communication with your dentist and preserving as much healthy tooth as possible using state-of-the-art three-dimensional imaging and the dental operating microscope to guide diagnosis and treatment. Ask your dentist if a root canal specialist is right for you. Hermanson Endodontics in Pierre.
Grab your cell phone and download the brand new Cowboy Country Store app today. It's free and it's super easy to navigate. And best yet, it's full of amazing everyday specials and rewards like 99-cent coffee on Mondays, 2 hot dogs for $3 on Wednesdays. Every single day, there's a special deal. And we also reward you for shopping with a bonus on Sundays, offering you double points earned on every purchase. So check it out by downloading the Cowboy Country Store app today.
Cowboy Country Stores coming up with the players of the game. A couple of pats on the back for some Washington players while we keep our award local, but you certainly pat the back of Maddie Mesher, standout pitcher, a 3-hit shutout, and 13 strikeouts all along the way, not walking a batter. Only 4 base runners all day long for the Governors with 3 singles and 1 reaching on error. But offensively, Kirsten Kite hitting a home run and leading the way as the leadoff hitter, and multiple RBI days for Kate Childers and for Natalie Thompson, and multiple run-scoring days for Kirsten Kite, Aubrey Chavez, and Maddie Mesher, courtesy runner as it is. Those are some stars of the game for Sioux Falls, Washington. For the Governors, again, offensively, not a lot to sing at. Defensively, they certainly played a pretty good ball game. Kenzie Flottmeyer was solid in right. Allie Keys busy and solid in center field, and Presley Spies did have 1 misplay, but made a couple of fine plays. At Olivia Hymans at shortstop made a great play. Taryn Spruill had 1 great play on a highlight reel play also. But we really are proud of the effort of Charlie Hall at the pitching mound. Even though giving up 9 runs to a great team like Sioux Falls, Washington, still Sioux Falls capable of scoring a whole heck of a lot more. And Charlie Hall, who is, by all accounts, the number 2 pitcher on this squad, did a heck of a job today, keeping the Washington hitters most of the time or many times off balance. Yes, they did have 9 runs and 13 hits, but still a solid game pitched by Charlie Hall, who will be our player of the game. Get a t-shirt noting her accomplishments, sponsored by Cowboy Country Stores in Pierre and Fort Pierre. So once again, upcoming, as we look at the Washington schedule, I'll tell you what they've got. Pierre has a Tuesday game at Brandon Valley. Thursday at home, our next broadcast will be at 3:30 in the afternoon, a 4 o'clock first pitch from Riggs Field. Pierre hosting the Mitchell Colonels, and then they have a game at Sturgis on Friday. Sioux Falls, Washington has Brandon Valley in the week ahead. They've got them on Monday, and then they've got Sturgis, or rather Harrisburg on Tuesday. They will host Sturgis and Rapid City Stevens next weekend. Spearfish might be there as well, but obviously 2 big ones coming up Monday and Tuesday. They've got number 5 Brandon Valley and number 2 Harrisburg Monday and Tuesday respectively. Of course, the Governors will have Brandon Valley in Brandon on Tuesday as well. For those who are on the road following softball, following any high school sport for any reason at all, the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds us all, it doesn't matter how far, just buckle up. It starts with you. You've got someplace to be. Our thanks once again to those who are working this game for us back in studio. William Wilson, Cortana Mancuso on technical direction. John Stewart doing the video for Live Ticket today. The Live Ticket YouTube link, or rather the GoGov's Live YouTube link, will have replays available of all of our game broadcasts. Just search Pierre Sioux Falls, Washington softball, or Pierre Roosevelt, whatever the case may have been for the games today. And, of course, available at drgnews.com. All things news, weather, sports in Central South Dakota. For Dean Vandewille, who we appreciate his efforts and his gift of gab, I'm Brian Oakland, thanking you for joining us. Your final Gales Gas Service scoreboard. Sioux Falls, Washington, 9-0 victory over the Pierre Governors. We'll talk to you again on Thursday for Pierre and Mitchell from Riggs Field, 3:30. Looking forward to it. Pierre softball, part of your official voice of the Pierre Governors. River 92.7 and drgnews.com. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
You've been listening to Pierre Governor Sports on the official home of the Pierre Governors, River 92.7 and DRG Media Group. Governor Sports is brought to you by your Pierre Sports marketing sponsors, Bank West, Beck Motors, Dakota Storm Roofing, Superior Concrete, Live Ticket, Overhead Door, New Edge Advisors, Avera Orthopedics, Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota, Kruger Contracting, Century Business Products, and the Brittany Scheffelbein Agency of American Family Insurance. Governor Sports is also sponsored in part by Dakota Mart, TMA, First Dakota National Bank, May Adam Law Office, Edward Jones, Avera St. Mary's Hospital, Wegner Auto, Ram Tire, and by Xander Auto Parts, American Bank and Trust, Kathy Sun and Shine Properties, Hawaii Federal Credit Union, the Ramkota Hotel and Conference Center, Tokyo Hibachi and Sushi, Bauman Lumber, and Black Hills Federal Credit Union. And coverage of high school sports on River 92.7 is also brought to you by these special in-game sponsors: Bank West, the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, Central Dakota Eye Care, Envirotech, the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection, Rounds Financial Services, Comtech, Coca-Cola Bottling, Wealth Partners Ameriprise Financial, Hermanson Endodontics, Family Dental, Cowboy Country Stores, and Gales Gas Service of Pierre. Thanks for listening to Pierre Governor Sports on the official home of the Pierre Governors, River 92.7 and drgnews.com.